Next up, we turn our attention to Thursday. Only one Thursday night game this week, and it is out of the Sun Belt Fun Belt on a Thursday night. Troy and Old Dominion. We've got the Old Dominion Monarchs 11-point home favorites in this game. The total sitting at 53.5, pretty much across the board here in this game. Old Dominion coming off a very impressive 31-6 beatdown over ULM. They've been all over the place lately. Old Dominion. They beat the hell out of Central or Coastal and Liberty. Then they lose outright as double-digit favorites to Marshall, and they lose by 24. They end up getting steamrolled by James Madison, 63-27, against a App State team that I think they're better than. It was lackluster, and it was life and death for ODU to win that game, 24-21. And only last week, for the first time in really 4 games, did ODU put forth really a strong pillar-to-post, start-to-finish game on both sides of the football. Colton Joseph was good throwing it, running it, and the defense, more importantly, put the clamps down on Louisiana Monroe's offense. Armenta, the quarterback, had 1 interception. It was a struggle to get the run game going for Monroe. That being said, at the end of the day, even though that final score was 31-6 Old Dominion, the yardage in that game was 391 for Old Dominion, and it was almost 300 for Louisiana Monroe. So it really wasn't quite as lopsided in the box score as maybe the final score of the game indicated. Troy comes into this game off a 23-10 loss at home against Arkansas State. Both teams coming in off a bye, so again, no advantage there. Neither team played last week, so it's pretty much a wash as far as that goes. The one thing that we've noted on this show when we've talked Troy is that they were without Goose Crowder, obviously, for a long period of time, but they did get him back against Arkansas State. Look, he looked a little rusty, I guess you could say, coming back to action, because he missed really since the Memphis game. He had been injured and out of action for Troy, and it was Tucker Kilcrease that was the quarterback for them. But Goose Crowder came back. Yeah, the fact now that he's got a bye week, the game under his belt, back from injury before the bye week against Arkansas State, and now the bye week to really ramp things up and get more comfortable.
Is he in? Kilcrease played against Arkansas State, though.
He is. That's what we're looking. Was it Kilcrease?
Okay.
Let me just double check.
Yeah, it was Kilcrease, because he's been bad the last few games.
You're right. He was expected
but that doesn't mean.
And then they decided last minute we're going to play it safe and we'll wait for the bye and now bring him back. Yeah, it was Kilcrease.
So he's going to play. He's going to play. Yeah, here. Okay.
And Kilcrease was starting to play better, and then he kind of went back to having one of the games he played early when he first took over. He could barely move the football when he first took over. Remember those first couple of games for Troy? Like, their offense did nothing without Goose Crowder the first couple of games. But then all of a sudden, Kilcrease started to get comfortable. Yes, it was Kilcrease against Arkansas State, but it looks like it is going to be Crowder. I see Crowder listed as the QB1 here for this game, so we do expect him back here for this matchup. His numbers, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, again, early in the season. Let's not forget, he played pretty solid, and despite a losing effort against Clemson. That was the game where we highlight it because he was able to move the football, especially early in that game. I kind of lean with Goose Crowder back and healthy again. I kind of lean to Troy here, plus 11. You're getting a pretty good number here with them. You look at Old Dominion here and the recent opportunities they've had as double-digit favorites. They did cover as double-digit road favorites at ULM, but double-digit home favorites. We saw App State. They won by 3. They were 14.5-point road favorites at Marshall. They lost outright. They did cover against Coastal Carolina, I should say, but Coastal was a mess on offense at the time. They didn't cover as home favorites against Liberty. They were 14.5-point home favorites. They only won by 14. So, maybe a little bump for Troy, getting Goose Crowder back on the field as their starting quarterback. Both of these teams 6-3. Old Dominion undefeated at home, 4-0, but Troy actually has been pretty solid on the road. You go back and look at Clemson, they covered. At Buffalo, they won outright. At Texas State, they won outright. At ULM, 4.5-point road favorites. They won 37-14. So this Troy team is a perfect 4-0 against the spread on the road coming into this game here. So, yeah, I think you can make a case for Troy, plus 11. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so, too. I like that you don't team on the road that they play, solid on the road. Like even in that Clemson to start the year, you remember that the first half, they were like beating them in that game there. So they've been solid on the road, and it's tough to lay these points a little bit with, I think, Old Dominion the better team. These defenses are similar a little bit. One thing is Troy does give it up a little bit on the ground, and we know Old Dominion can run it 200 yards a game, and Troy gives up 160, a little bit better against the pass. But yeah, I kind of want Troy in this spot, but this is a wait for me. I'm just going to keep this here as a lean.
I think there's pathways to points for both teams. I think Troy could move it with a healthy Goose Crowder. And you're right about the run defense. That's the weakness for Troy. And Old Dominion's like getting 200 rushing yards per game on average. Like their run game is pretty darn good. So I think there could be pathways to points. I don't see any weather issues in Norfolk, Virginia. Thursday night, no rain, 3-mile-per-hour winds. So the over might be something that appeals to me here as well with Troy. And ODU in this.
And what do you get the Old Dominion, the team that kind of has been some games dominant at home and others not?
Yep.
It's a little
mixed bag at home. Like they dominated Coastal at home. Pretty good against Liberty at home, but then they had that, head scratcher against App State. Like they were life and death. They were trailing actually in that game, needed to come back to win that game. So,
and they were laying almost 2 touchdowns there.
Yes,
right?
They were
13.
Barely won the game straight up.